process. The very word can invoke thoughts of patience, building, struggles, and success. For the Dayton women's basketball program, the process has had to be expedited. After being introduced as the head coach, Shauna Green had less than 2 months to prepare her team for what was to be a grueling non-conference schedule.
It's funny because I tell people sometimes maybe that was a blessing in disguise when you only have, literally you're hired in, season's already, they're already practicing. So I didn't have time to overthink, anything, or I didn't have time to think anything. Literally, my press conference was that day, and I was in a home that night doing a home visit. So it was a complete whirlwind. And the number one thing as you transition in a situation like that was our players. That was my number one priority, trying to make sure they were okay, make sure they were taken care of, because that's a big blow when out of the blue your head coach, is not there anymore. So granted, I knew most of the players here, it's still different, and so that was my number one priority. We really didn't have a lot of time to sit as a staff and sit around and talk X and O's and what we're going to do. And I think that's why you saw kind of our start. It was a little bit slower than what we wanted, because I'm learning our personnel and I'm learning our team really in games and in season, and we just, it was a learning process. And then around mid-December is when we really start clicking and really start playing like I knew we were capable of. But it just, like I said, it's a process. It takes a while, and it took me time to figure them out and them time to figure me out.
The team approached the end of their non-conference slate. They went head-to-head with Texas A&M, a team who was receiving votes in the national poll. The Flyers took the lead with 5 minutes to play in the first quarter and never looked back, winning by 17. The victory helped showcase the Flyers' progress from what Coach Green now views as the turning point.
That was the end result, but it was that 11 days before that is where our season turned. It was after the Toledo game, and it was finals break, where we actually had time to practice and to get better and to change things. Our schedule, and it is what it is. I don't use it as an excuse, but our schedule, we were on the road a lot. We were at the Bahamas, we were at UConn, we were just gone. So I knew there was adjustments that had to be made, but you're literally prep time, game prep, day off or a game. Like, you didn't have a ton of time to just implement stuff. So during that 11 days, we implemented a completely new offense and changed stuff up, because I knew we had to with our personnel. And we had some team meetings about non-basketball stuff that really brought us together. And so the end result was Texas A&M, but the 11 days prior to, and how we came together, and how we focused in on just getting better day by day. That was where the season changed.
The Flyers built an 11-game winning streak and have risen to the top of the Atlantic 10 standings. Their rise has been carefully orchestrated since Green took over in September.
That's a credit to our players. I think it's a credit to them. They bought into everything that we did. Sometimes if you did that, they would, I like this, I like that, like, why are we doing this? They never questioned anything that we did. This is what we're doing, and this is, there was never even an explanation. I didn't even make a big deal like, oh, well, we're putting in this whole new offense. We just put it in. And you just sit it right in there, and they're like, oh, you could hear them talk through the days and then through the games, like, oh, we really like this, we like that. So it was interesting how we, we didn't, and that's kind of been our MO. We haven't, I don't like to make a big deal about a lot of things. This is just matter of fact. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do today. Let's go do it as hard and, as together as we possibly can. So that was really our approach. The mentality that I keep trying to drive into our team's mind, and the mindset for us to have is just, are we better today than we were yesterday? And it's worked pretty well today. We're not going to worry about yesterday. We learned from it. We broke it down as a staff. We're going to tell them this is what we need to do in order to get better. So we're not going to hang on, whatever, all the bad stuff that happened yesterday. Just one at a time, just do your job.
A first-round NCAA tournament game could be played on the 6-month anniversary of Green's introductory press conference. That achievement alone would not mark an end to the process, but rather the beginning of another one.